Hello, everyone. I'm Tatiana Perry, the Senior Marketing Manager of Co., and I am joined today by three of our lovely Co 100 2024 honorees, and they're going to talk today about what drives growth and how they define success. So without further ado, let's get to know our honorees. So we're going to start with Rachel Garcia. She is the owner and founder of New Jersey's very own first plastic-free grocer, Dry Goods Refillery. So Rachel, Dry Goods Refillery was recognized in the Disruptors category of the Co 100. Can you just tell us a little bit more about your company and what makes you a disruptor?
So Dry Goods Refillery is the first plastic-free grocery in New Jersey, and I like to hope and think kind of an innovator and disruptor in the space of grocery in general, but also kind of small business sustainability. We are really helping our customers to reduce their waste, having that impact on the ground in our community by allowing them to bring their own container and refill a variety of products for their body, their home, their pantry, et cetera, while also kind of working to educate them on things that maybe they've heard about or have questions about regarding sustainable alternatives. And additionally, we've been really successful at having a larger reach through social media platforms with 250,000 TikTok followers and Instagram followers who, I think also are interested in what we're doing and trying to have an impact that way as well.
Nice. Awesome. And so next up we have Pallavi Pande, the Co 100 Customer Champion honoree, a mompreneur, and the owner and founder of compostable tableware company, DTOCS. So can you tell us about your business and why customer service is so integral to your company's mission?
Thank you for that question. Hello, everybody. My name is Pallavi Pande, and I'm the owner and founder of DTOCS palm leaf tableware brand from Portland, Oregon. A fun fact here, the meaning of my first name, Pallavi, is leaf, and the plates you're eating on today on your table are made from palm leaves. That being said, I've had my brand for 6 years, and at the center of it all is a tribute to my customers. And that being said, it is because that drives our growth in 3 pillars: sustainability, community, and usability. And I think the customer championship category was very apt for my brand because of some real stories where after using the plates at events, some people would sneak them in their bags and take them home to their pets because the pets love to chew on them. Or for example, people would take it home to let their kids paint on them. Or some customers would actually send us pictures of rabbits in their backyard having a barbecue party after people. So that's why I say we go beyond people, we go to people, planet, and parties. And again, our brand is DTOCS.
Thank you so much. And finally, we have Matt Carr, the president of Missouri's very own Beck Flavors and the Co 100 Community Champions honoree. So Matt, can you tell us about your company and how community relationships kind of help your business success?
Absolutely. So Beck Flavors was founded in 1904. I was not there back then when it was founded, but we were basic in vanilla back then, selling vanilla to dairies primarily, and then the company has grown since to provide custom flavors in the food and beverage world. And so for us, community is really important. It's not just the community that our employees live in, it's the community that we live in. So we have focused heavily on giving back to our community in several different areas, but we really look at children's charities. So Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital is one in St. Louis that we've dedicated a lot of time and resources, whether that's championing events for them or we have an upcoming toy drive that we're doing for the patients at the hospital.
That's beautiful. Awesome. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. You guys ready? I am. Okay, so we're going to start with Rachel again. So Rachel, being a disruptor means being innovative, as you mentioned, and innovation in sustainability often means kind of forging your own way. So can you tell us about a time where you had to make a bold decision that kind of strayed away from the usual and how that affected your growth?
Sure. So first and foremost, let me just say, yes, I think being a small business in a food industry and supply chain is like a little fish swimming against a very big wave. It's very challenging, and I think innovation is something we do every single day in a lot of different ways. Part of what we're trying to do is teach customers about reusing what they already have or rethinking their mindset. That alone is kind of something that we have to innovate with because we're teaching them how to rethink sometimes, which is the hardest part. But I would say, little things. For an example would be that we, for example, have a freezer, okay? When you think about the freezer section in your local grocery store, there is probably nothing in there that doesn't have plastic packaging. It is exceptionally difficult. But small businesses, as Jenna had said in the last discussion, are quite nimble. And so we've been able to use local partnerships to come up with compostable, bags that we feel comfortable with in the freezer, with local, butchers or other suppliers who can do things for us vacuum sealed in the freezer. Is it a little more work? Is it a little more tedious? Yes, but it shows that it can be done. And similarly, let's say a returnable glass jar for something like frozen berries or beans or whatever you're looking for in the freezer, spinach, I don't know. All of those things are usable in a returnable kind of circular economy kind of way, where our customer buys the jar, uses it with a small deposit like a milk bottle, brings it back to us, it's fully sanitized and put back into production. So, when someone said a freezer couldn't be done, I said, I will find a way to make that freezer happen. And it's a small impact, but I think our goal is always to show that those things are possible, and we hope that that kind of trickles down into other people's conversations, maybe inspires other people through our social media platforms, and then disrupts other businesses along the way.
Thanks. Yeah, I know sustainability is so important for a lot of small businesses. I feel like each of you kind of touch in your own way. But Pallavi, DTOCS focuses not only on sustainability, but also focuses on empowering women in India through fair wages. So can you talk about how that commitment to social responsibility has influenced your business's growth, and how do you see it shaping your company?
So I will say detox products, like you're saying, it's not something possibly for me to domestically make them, because I can't find areca palm trees here that I use to source the plates from. This is a variety of palm tree called areca palm tree or betel nut tree, found in only certain parts of the world. Now, coming back from India, where I was born, I wanted to give back to the community from there. I wanted to start giving back to the women. So we started hiring Indian women workers at the manufacturing unit. And we started making sure, while they are manufacturing my products, we can make sure to send their kids to school. So we started sponsoring education scholarships for those children. We started doing sweater drives because it is cold and they don't have money to afford sweaters. So these were little small action items that led to a big impact. Like Rachel said, sustainability, it's not just about a product. It's actually a mindset shift. It's about, how do you want to live your life? What is that footprint that you're living with today, and how can you make that better as a human being?
That's beautiful. Thank you. So Matt, you mentioned that Beck Flavors was founded in 1904, which means you guys have over a century of expertise, and you guys are also known to be a leader in the flavor industry. But can you share about how you've built a positive workplace community and culture, and how that positive difference you make both in your own, network of Beck Flavors and your community has changed your business's trajectory?
Absolutely. So my business partner, Paul, and I, our number one challenge was, let's make this the best workplace any of our employees have ever worked in. Big challenge. It's something that I wake up every day thinking about, because we have a great team of employees, and we often call them our family of employees. But without a workplace that challenges them, keeps them focused on the strategy that we have for the business, and keeps them engaged in the jobs that they're doing, it wouldn't matter. So we focus really hard every day on improving that workplace environment. We're very transparent, going over quarterly results with every single employee from every metric that we have on the business, but then also pushing our employees to develop. So that starts with job career plans that we go over in our annual reviews, so people understand where they are, but more importantly, where they can go within our business.
Awesome. So I kind of want to shift gears a little bit. I know, of course, this topic is top of mind to all small business owners, and we heard from Neil on the policy side, but I think it's great to hear from small business owners who are affected. Can you guys share about how your businesses are being impacted by tariffs and how you're navigating that? That's a question for all of you, but we can start with Matt and work our way down.
Absolutely, yeah. So for us, we were already experiencing tariffs last year on some products that we buy from China, where unfortunately there had been product dumping. So we had a little experience on how to navigate the tariff world ahead of things. But also in November, once the election was finalized, I went to our procurement team and our accounting team, and I said, what is our strategy? How are we going to adapt if and when tariffs are in place? So what we did is we took a look at our top 250 inputs, raw materials, and looked at country of origin. Hopefully we had multiple country of origins that we could choose from. And then our great procurement and accounting team developed a tool where they could implement a percentage tariff for each country of origin and populate that out across all those 250 inputs. So in real time, we had the ability to understand how tariffs were impacting our business and be able to have open communication with our customers about the tariff situation. As it is now, we have a single line item on our invoice, which is just a tariff fee, and it's simply a pass-through from us to our customers. But we're being very transparent about it, and we hope that it's something that's short-term, but we've put tools in place in case it takes longer than we are expecting.
Thank you. Pallavi?
So I will say tariffs are scary, and I'm a little terrified right now.
Love that.
That being said, I thought we have two options, either to play at an offensive side, where I'm like, okay, I am so glad I ordered extra inventory in the last few months, so I'm well stocked. Now, how am I going to leverage that in order to stay ahead of the game, ahead of the competition? Or am I going to be on the defensive side, where I'm going to be having a real assessment of my business plan, my business model, which is right now, I'm sourcing and I'm manufacturing in India. What if I start manufacturing in Vietnam? Because last year I went to Vietnam, I looked at a whole bunch of sourcing, manufacturing, and I have that lineup, so good for me. So it depends really, like Matt was saying, where are you going to source from? Where are you going to locate your warehouses? Where are you going to penetrate into what new market? So as long as you're assessing all these things, I think you can be in these two zones and really work on your business assessment.
Yeah, so a little bit different. We're direct to consumer. I'm the end of the supply chain. So, with any of these things, tariffs included, there's going to be trickle-down effect. Kind of like they were saying in the last conversation as well, right? We don't have the bandwidth to plan out 6 months ahead. We buy very close to the window, and that kind of nimble nature is how many small businesses are successful. It's going to be interesting. I think the benefit that we have, and I love what the Chamber is doing with the option for this exception, is we really only partner small businesses. It's part of our ethos. So I'm hopeful in that situation, but it is scary. Sustainability is based off of a lot of bamboo, for example, which is obviously coming from China. It may come in through a company that's actually manufacturing it in Canada. So it's not an industry that's prevalent here or has the ability to exist here, and that does feel scary. I think I'm hopeful in the sense that because we've been established for 6 years and our core business is focused on the trust and the relationship and this kind of integration with our community and our customers, they understand that we are not the type of business that's going to sell them something at a profit just because we think we can. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's where, you hope that all the work we put in up until this point will get us through whatever's to come, because we've established that relationship that we're only passing along, as Matt said, what we have to in order to really just make it through to the other side. But we'll see. Time tells. The supply chain gets kind of squeezed from all different sides, and someone like me who's on the smaller side and direct-to-consumer is going to be kind of towards the end. But we're doing what we can in the best way we can to kind of prepare ourselves and plan ahead.
Yeah, I think that's so important. And I just want to thank you guys for all sharing your perspectives. I'm sure a lot of small business owners are in the same place you're in right now, so it's kind of good to hear that transparency. So thank you for that. And let's just jump back into the fun stuff, okay? Yeah, let's do that. Rachel, again, we'll start with you. You mentioned that your company has been around for 6 years, so you've grown a lot in a relatively short amount of time. Looking back on your journey, what would you say are the most important lessons you've learned about adapting your business model as you scale? And how can other small businesses apply that to accelerate their own growth?
Sure. So I think if you're an entrepreneurial person, you probably are a dreamer. You have ideas, you have big ones. I have a new one every other week, just ask my husband. But when you have that idea, I think the lesson that I could say I feel like I've learned is, I think of it like a dartboard, like imagine the future version of your business. You're not aiming for the bullseye, you're just aiming for the dartboard. And I think some businesses get really focused on that bullseye. They're very blinded into what their vision is, what their interests are, what they think is going to work. And if you're not nimble and able to kind of take, collaborations here and input here and make this mistake and adjust here, you don't end up on the dartboard at all. And if anybody can tell you they have it all figured out from day one, business plan or no business plan, they're lying. Because as this tariff conversation just happened, there's always going to be a wrench in the plan. So I just kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do, and over time I've made small adjustments based on what I saw that I thought would work but didn't work, maybe what my customers told me they wanted and I thought that wasn't in my idea, but here we are. Example would be, I always wanted to be a grocer. That was always my envision of this. A lot of refilleries focus on soaps and cleaning supplies. It wasn't my passion per se, and there was some competition in the area, and I didn't feel like it was necessary. And very quickly was told by my customers, not just in a verbal way, but in a real impactful way, like through discussions, through them, well, I'm going to the other place anyway now because that I had to adjust. And I think being open-minded to that and focusing on the bigger picture and knowing it's still the target is really the best advice I can give, because you're never gonna have it figured out day one. And I don't know, I kind of think that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, thank you. Pallavi, going back to the customer service aspect of everything, can you share the customer service strategies and practices you found to be the most effective in fostering customer loyalty and just building those long-term relationships?
Yes, so I think I will piggyback on what Rachel was saying. Don't assume what your customer wants. Find that what your customer wants, and from there, make another strategy. Because I might want to sell them square plates, they might want a round plate. So how do you literally incorporate what a customer is wanting, listen to them, do those surveys, do those feedback, like how did we deliver on the products? Is there anything else we can do for you? And from there comes new ideas like, okay, we can do a custom shape, we can do a custom design, we can do your logo on it. So listen to what your customer has to tell you when they're saying, we don't want what you're giving, we want what we want. Can you make that for us? So we've taken that approach very, very seriously, and I know we are a very, very small team of literally 3 people. We are an e-commerce brand, and I think that's what gives us the power, which is to reach our customers directly. And we've diversified our portfolio in selling in direct to consumers, selling to businesses, contracting in food service, as well as selling on retail. But we not really get to know our customers when they're buying off of retail shelves. We really don't know when people are contracting on our products. That direct to consumer approach has been the most fruitful, and that is 60% of our sales that do come from direct to consumers. And we've tried to make it into a very, very boutique experience, like literally reaching out to them very proactively and finding out how has their experience been, and that has helped us really grow our direct to consumer brand presence.
Yeah, I know you mentioned like surveys and getting feedback, but can you share some real like tangible, actionable strategies that small business owners can use to like really listen and connect with their customer base?
So for direct to consumers, one small example would be whenever I'm traveling, I look out who is my customer in that city, and I would make sure if they have a bar, I go visit them in their bar. If they have a restaurant, I would take all of my family. If the owner is there, great. If they're not, I'll take a picture and I will email it to them saying I was here with my daughters, with my family. So that really builds credibility and a relationship. And for those people who are really not traveling, what can you do is reach out to them on social media. We've really relied on collaborations. We've done small business campaigns for 1 month where we've taken women-owned, for example, businesses, and we've highlighted them across all of our social media. We saw a big jump of followers from 500 followers. Like, we've never had that kind of a jump. So literally making it about them is the key.
And I like to point out, that strategy doesn't take a big budget.
Yes.
Good to know.
Just take some time and some strategy to plan it.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Now, Matt, moving on to you. Beck Flavors prioritizes using cutting-edge manufacturing facilities and innovation centers to meet the needs of your customers. How does investing in these resources help support your company's strategy for long-term growth? And how might a business with fewer resources take that similar approach?
Sure. So we built our new manufacturing facility in 2019, finished it up in 2020. So that was during the COVID time period. So we had challenges there. I was mentioning backstage, we had a 3-week time period where we couldn't open our plant because we were waiting on stainless steel sinks that were stuck at the port of Long Beach. So investing in that facility and building it out for the future was really key for us. So we built it with growth in mind. So that facility can accommodate our growth moving forward. We're at about 80% of capacity at that facility today, and that's just using 1 shift. So we feel really strongly about the future, but we're already looking at another business line that our customers are interested in buying from us, so that we would look at building another plant. So you always have to be thinking 3 to 5 years ahead of time, sometimes even longer, 10 years. What do I need to invest in today to accommodate the growth of the future for our business? And we've done a pretty good job at that.
Yeah, I guess diving further into that, how might a business who just feels already overwhelmed with all the things they're doing on the day-to-day try to find ways to think ahead when they're trying to, stay afloat today?
Sure. Yeah, it's tough to prioritize, right? So one of the things in our strategic plan that we have that's really important is customer is king. And so it's not just from a customer service standpoint, but also talking to our customers and understanding where their growth goals are, what products they want to launch in the future. And that really helped us prioritize who we needed to be for them. Because at the end of the day, without our customers, we're nothing. So including them in our strategic plan was had a lot of forethought for us, but it was also purposeful for us to be able to talk to them on a regular basis, understand the challenges they're having. Do we have similar challenges? Are they having trouble with another supplier that maybe we could say yes when they're saying no? So that would be the advice that I would give is find out from others what's going on in their business and how can you assist them or provide a new product to them that then you could realize the investment that way.
Yeah, would you say that's how you try to find ways to stay competitive in your industry? And that goes for all of you. Like what methods have you found help you stay competitive and stay ahead of the game in your respective industries?
Yeah, for us, it's being quick and nimble and listening to the customer. So we had several customers buying from very large competitors of ours, and they said it would take 3, 4, 5 weeks sometimes to get a response. So we said that's unacceptable. So we have a 24-hour period where customer service or our regulatory department responds within 24 hours. Even if we don't have the answer that they need within that 24-hour period, we're reaching out to explain the situation to them and give them an understanding of how long until they'll have an answer. So customer service in this country has a lot of opportunity to improve, and we focused heavily on our customer service department.
Smart. Pallavi?
So I will give a tangible example of what we did to stay ahead of competition and literally position ourselves as unique from competition, and there are a couple of pointers. So we go inside the reviews of our competitors and we make an Excel sheet. Any small business can do that. When you look into those reviews, what are those pain points that the customer is saying? For example, the products are great, they are sustainable, they are compostable, but they're wrapped in plastic packaging. That beats the purpose of being called a sustainable zero-waste brand. What we took from that review was we transitioned into 100% compostable packaging wrap that none of our customers have done. It costs money, it costs a lot of more groundwork because the compostable wraps are nasty. They are not clear, so they look like pet poop bags. So that being said, we had to literally keep those emotions away from our customers, but we did transition 4 of our SKUs into 100% compostable wraps. The other ones were having unique shapes that nobody was offering. So we went in the industry, we designed these molds that give the shapes to the leaves. So if you want to make a boat platter, whether you want a yin-yang bowl that has 2 separation points, and that was something that came from my kids when they were like, my sweet sauce should not touch my savory sauce. Now, how do I keep that separate as a mom? And I'm an electrical engineer, so I got to figure out solutions. So, okay, let's do a bowl that has a section in the middle, same with plates. So keeping ahead, and literally those were some of the ways where we separated ourselves from the competition. To add to that, the fun one was getting the People and Planet First certification, which is one of our highest accolades so far that nobody has, because that talks about our testament to our products, our community, our people. So that is what distinguishes us from the competition as well.
Awesome.
We have a really unique model, so I think it's easy in that regard to just say, oh, we're different, that's enough, and I've never felt like that's enough. I think what we really try and do is create what people maybe want outside of what we're offering, which is community and a place of feeling like they can have an impact and really building that trust. And for us, if you asked me, if I had to define success, right, of our business, it actually has nothing to do with the numbers. Obviously, you want to feel like you can run a business successfully and, without in the green and keep it going, of course. And that's wonderful. And some days I want world domination. But other days, I'm really just happy that we're changing mindsets, that people trust us to make decisions. An example might be, people don't realize this, and I look around this room and the person in me has anxiety because I feel like every coffee mug in here is lined in plastic and it's hot and there's microplastics just brewing now in your coffee. I'm so sorry to tell you that. But the fact that I've told you that, maybe now next time someone takes a sip, they'll think, well, maybe I should bring that reusable mug instead. Okay, well, now I've told you. Maybe then you go tell someone else, then maybe you tell someone else. And our store, because we are a community small business in the most simple Main Street way you can imagine, right? We have that trust with our community, and that for me is my ultimate kind of competitive nature and competitive upside, I would say, is that people come to us because they trust me. They trust us and our staff and our decision making, and they look to us to be, a source of inspiration in a very approachable way. And I'm hopeful that those kind of things then, create more success that's out in the world that maybe isn't as tangible and that I can't see, but also sets us apart because it's not just a place to buy beans. It's really a community that you're a part of that's having a true impact and saving hundreds and hundreds of thousands of containers and making small mindful changes every day.
Thank you so much. Okay, so really, really quick, each of you were named a Co100 honoree. Can you just, in 10 seconds or less, share what that has meant to each of you and your businesses?
It's so validating. I think if you're someone out there who has not yet started your business or you're in the very beginning, to have an idea in your mind and then stand here on the stage is seriously the greatest gift and so surreal. It is such a cool experience, and I feel like it brings so much confidence and validation, and it's just so inspiring to be around other businesses. It's hard to realize how many cool things exist in this country, and how many amazing businesses there really are out there. It's a really cool club to be in.
Pallavi?
I will say CO 100 Awards being called for the top 100 businesses in America. It means that we are here representing diverse businesses, and it feels very, very good in terms of giving us that confidence that representation matters, and we are representing here American businesses doing wonderful things. I thought I was doing a cool product, but when I met the other 99 people, I was like, oh my God, we've got businesses that are doing cool things in this country, so that felt very good.
Thank you. Matt?
I knew it was really important to be named one of the top 100 businesses in the country when we announced it to our employees, and everyone smiled and grinned. It just brought so much pride to them for the hard work that they had put in, and to know that they could be working at Beck Flavors, which is one of the top 100 companies in the country.
You heard that, one of the top 100 companies. Okay, thank you so much. I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you to my panel, and I hope you guys all learned something today. Bye.